Hey everybody, it's Gary coming from the shop at the Old Barn Homestead. Just wanted to give you guys an update on this channel. It's been a little bit. As always, just kind of showing you the real deal, the behind the scenes, what's going on here. So, as you can see, man, I have got myself a serious mess. I think you guys probably noticed from most of the videos I've been keeping the shop fairly well organized and, you know, that kind of thing. And you can see, working on these cabinets here for the kitchen area and the living area, and these will be the last things to go in. And I just stuck that door on there. That door doesn't go with that cabinet, but just to give you an idea of kind of what it's looking like there with the pickled angle iron and the light colored, rustic pine. I think it looked pretty good, and it's the same wood as the rest of the interior in there, so it should blend in and match pretty well. You can see the big bandsaw over there we showed you a little while back. Wanted to show this real quick. I got this shipment in from Greg Porter. Greg went and bought himself a fancy, TIG welder with water cooler and really nice Miller setup. And the place he got it at was going out of business, and they had a bunch of different tooling, and so he got me this setup. And I don't know if any of you have ever priced any of these Tico T-slot clamp kits, but they are not cheap, and you can see made in Union, Ohio, made in America. Really, really nice stuff. And also some other tooling that he picked up for me. All these 40 taper tools. The one question I wanted to ask is these are Cat 50 tools that go, or Cat 40 I guess, that go in a CNC machine, and they've got this stud, which I guess the hydraulic drawbar locks into. I need to take that out. I'm guessing it's just threaded into the normal drawbar slot there, but not sure exactly how I need to do that. I tried to just grab some pliers and hook on that and twist that out, but it seems to be in there pretty tight. But so let me know if you got any suggestions, if there's a dedicated spanner. It came with this spanner, which does not look like it fits. It just doesn't fit in there. It's too small. So if you guys have any thoughts on removing those so I can use them in my non-cat, I don't know what the name of it is. There's another version of the 40 taper that, or what they call it, but I can't think of it. So yeah, all the accessories and everything, the T-nuts, the studs. Actually, the T-nuts, I didn't really see too many of those. Actually, there they are right there, a big stack of those. But so, and then a 40 taper holder here. So yeah, I'm gonna get that stuff mounted on the wall back behind the mill. You see I've already got one, I'll show you, 40 taper holder and one Tico clamp kit. So anyway, just kind of giving you an update. You can see I moved the tooling that goes with the mill and the lathe over here. You may remember it was down here. There were two cabinets down there that I now have just in the center of the floor. The thought on any cabinets is to get them in the center of the floor because they don't require power, and then save the edges perimeter for any machines or tooling that needs power. And what I tried to do was keep all the machines that use a lot of power over here pretty close to within 40 or 50 feet of the of the panels down there. And I've been working on the wiring here the last couple of days. So far up to date, I've been using this one receptacle with a 30 amp twist lock and one breaker to run the table saw, the planer, and then when I wasn't using that, I would just disconnect it, and I had a long extension that was 30 or 40 feet long, and I would bring it down here and hook it up to the lathe, or stretch it down and hook it up to the mill. And I didn't have any ends on it. I was just in such a hurry to get it running and use it. I was just, you can see there, that's the wiring for the mill, and I was just twisting the wires together with a wire nuts, and obviously not exactly the safest thing in the world to do. I've seen people do worse things. I've seen some really pretty bad stuff at a couple places I went to look at some machines at, but it's not good. So I'll show you what I've been doing here. I hate this melamine crap. It's so freaking heavy. I'd like to get rid of this. I bought too much of it when I was making those countertops. But these labels on the wall are what I originally put up, and these have been up here for probably a year to kind of, you know, just for planning purposes. And so I was going to have the planer and joiner on its own connection, but what I've elected to do is just use this one on the wall here with a cord coming over, and I put some pigtail ends on each of the machines. There's the one for the table saw, and then the one for the planer there, and then just the twist lock ends. I can move it back and forth easily to hook one up or the other up. And you know, it's not going to be a production woodworking shop. You know, small little jobs. You use the one person working on it, use the table saw, switch it over, use the planer. So no big deal in that. And then I've got this one, put a receptacle in that, and that one's actually, no, that one's not live yet, doesn't have a breaker. You can see I got the cover off, and the wires are pulled down there. They're in the box, but they're just no breakers, are not wired in. So I've got breakers for them now, and yeah, so I'm ready to hook that up. And that'll be, it's a 20 amp, again, 20 amp twist lock, and that'll be for the bandsaw here. It's already got the end on it. So we should just be able to plug that in and power it on and get it going. It also requires a 110 for, I believe, the blade welder and the light run off of that. So this was going to be for the bandsaw down here, and again, the wires are down there for it, and no breaker in it. So what I did was I had some of this 412 or 312, whatever you call it. And this is number 10 that's pulled down here to it. The wires coming out of that are 12 gauge. So, and this extension cord that I've got is a 12 gauge. So, and it worked well and didn't have any issues with it. So I just ran this and ran some new conduit up out of this, and I'll put a blank off plate on that, and tapped into these wires again that are home run back. It's not like I'm tapping into other stuff. You see there's other wires back in there that's feeding down, you know, to get the 220 for the little mill. So I went up and over with more conduit, and then back down with a receptacle right there, and then that'll be for the lathe. And you can see the wires coming out of the for the lathe there. And then I got a box I'm making up right here, that'll be the connection point, and I'll just put a blank plate on that. And a cord coming out of it that'll join in, you know, make the connection inside the box, and then this box will mount into some bolts. Sorry about all the shaky cam. You can see those bolt holes right there. I just put that angle iron on there like that, and make the connection in the box, and then have the twist lock coming here. So I don't know if that's, you know, if that's good or what. I think it'll be good enough for this. The electrician wanted to put, you know, shut off switches on on the wall behind all these machines, and man, every time you do that, it's like an extra $100. These twist lock connections aren't cheap as it is. Anyway, so this is getting me going here, you know, and where every machine will have its own dedicated power, except for the table saw and planer. So they'll all be under power all the time. It's just a matter of, you know, walking up and flipping it on, using it. The last thing I got to do is get power from the box all the way down, more conduit down for the mill here, you know, and again, I just was using those wires and connecting in up there. So anyway, yep, that's kind of what we got going on here. One last thing to share with you. You see, you got those cabinets over there and lots of glue ups and stuff going. I got this in Hypertherm 85. I don't know if you guys have, I mean, you know, plasma cutters are cheap now. If you look at the imports and all those, you're used to seeing plasma cutters for, you know, that'll cut, you know, 1 inch or pretty close to it for, I don't know, $700, $800, you know, for some of the import ones. And this sucker was $3,300 for the PowerMax 85. That's rated for, I think it's 1 1/8 is max on that. And I messed up. I was trying to order the one with the machine torch, and I punched in the part number for it, but it was one of those where I was trying to search for the best price, and I didn't realize it as I was looking at the different options on eBay and various websites, that it actually switched part numbers on me through looking at a couple of different ones, and I thought I was still looking at the same one. And I get it in, and it's got the hand torch, and it doesn't have the communication port on it for the machine. So I got to get some straps and get this strap back up and send it back. They're going to take it back and get me the right one. But my CNC plasma table is going to go there, and I've made room for that, moved stuff out of the way. I still got more work to do. I need to get a sheet goods rack built, for steel and wood. But the 4x8 table is going to go there, and it's being built now, and I think it's in powder coating. And I elected to go with a complete turnkey, just buy it, get it, plug it in kind of deal, rather than, they had different options. You could just buy the gantry and build your own table. They give you the plans for it. And I just, I'm tired of, I'm at a point now where I can't be just working on every machine all the time. I got to get these machines working for me rather than me working on the machines, and so that building that plasma table, I mean, can we do that? Oh, absolutely, not a problem at all. We can definitely do that. But again, that's another, I mean, it's a pretty large build, pretty complicated water table, and lots of stuff on it. It'll take a couple of weeks with all the other stuff I got going, maybe 3 or 4 weeks, who knows. I don't have that kind of time now, and I'm really under the gun to get going here with stuff. And so you guys saw the metal bender, the Tom Lipton Ox Tool Co. metal bender. I'll have a little more video on this, and I've made 10 of them, or in the process of making 10 of them. You can see I've started to make those, and I want to be able to get the price down on these because there's a lot of labor involved, a lot of machining. The plasma table will definitely help with that. I can do a lot of you see these slots here. Obviously I drilled a hole in the wrong place. That'll be a reject. But the slotting and, piercing and punching holes and, things like that, and some of the flat plate can definitely do that. But every part on this is either milled or turned on the lathe, and there's about 7 or 8 parts to it, and this one here being this pivot arm being the most complicated one to make, because it's irregular or rectangular square stock with a round part turned in, so you had to indicate it 4-jaw, indicating on the chuck, 4-jaw chuck there, so that adds to it. But man, talk about rigid, and with a long enough bar, I mean, you could bend pretty much anything you'd want to bend with this, just because of how solid and thick it is. A 1/2-inch plate and 3/4 inch bar there, and 3/4 inch main pivot point. So yep. All right guys, that's a huge long video for this channel. It's been a while. I just thought I'd give you guys an update and kind of show you what's going on. If you see anything that you would point out that I need to do differently, especially with the wiring and all that, yeah, give me a heads up. Thanks guys, appreciate it.